The Great Southern Trail is a greenway in the south of Ireland. If you're planning a walking, cycling or hiking holiday, or a short break to the midwestern part of Ireland, why not check out the sections of the trail which have been developed for walking, cycling and hiking? The Southern Trail is a unique 53-mile stretch of countryside in West Limerick and North Kerry. It is the route taken by the Limerick-Tralee railway line, which opened in 1867-1880 and closed in 1975-1977. The Greenway links the three principal towns of West Limerick, Rathkeale, Newcastle West and Abbeyfeale. Preservation of the route means that 21st century cyclists and walkers can now enjoy and appreciate the craftsmanship of the 19th century workers who built the railway. Several fine examples of its heritage, such as station houses, bridges, cuttings, embankments, along with a viaduct and tunnel, are located along the way. The towns and villages all possess their own charm. Rathkeale on the River Deal is home to the descendants of families who fled persecution in the Palatine region of Germany 300 years ago. Austin BOVENIZER explains.
In 1709, several hundred families from the southwest of Germany settled in Ireland. Known as the Palatines, they established roots mainly here in Rathkeale, County Limerick. In 1989, the Irish Palatine Association was formed. It's housed here in the old railway buildings at Rathkeale. The building houses an exhibition, archive and library dedicated to the Irish Palatines. The exhibition is opened each summer and at other times by contacting the Irish Palatine Association.
Ardagh gives its name to one of Ireland's most treasured artefacts, the Ardagh Chalice. This section passes through pleasant pastoral farmland with views of surrounding hills. Dr. Pat O'Connor tells of the importance of the archaeological find.
We're standing here on the Ardagh Bridge on the old railway line, now the GST, and of course Ardagh is quintessentially associated with the discovery of an absolutely exquisite chalice here in 1868 in an old fort just west of the village. This, on the other hand, was found fortuitously by two men digging potatoes, of all things, inside a ring fort, something that would scarcely happen. And the likelihood is that the chalice may have resided there from the heyday of early Christianity, when it was made in the first instance, about the middle of the 8th century. So there's an enormous fetch in the ground, and if it wasn't for something that shouldn't have happened, because superstition would have protected the chalice in that sense, it would have stayed buried immemorially and for all time.
Further along the line is the vibrant town of Newcastle West. This is the largest urban settlement on the route, which derives its name from its centuries-old castle.
Well, this Desmond Castle behind us here is a Norman castle, and it would have been founded in the 13th century when the Normans came to this part of the country, and in fact the town is named after the castle. And this statue behind us here of GARRY'S, he's the most famous of the Earls of Desmond. He was the wizard earl and the poet earl, and he's the one that's remembered most. This is equestrian statue here is of him, and he's supposed to have disappeared here in Newcastle West in the Domain in 1399. This is part of the hub of the Great Southern Trail, and there's a beautiful domain here beside us, which again comes down through the Earls of Desmond and through the Courtney family who succeeded the Earls of Desmond from Powderham Castle in Devon in Cornwall. They were the landlords here from the 16th century to the 20th century, and it was they built up the town, and that is kind of a potted history of the town. Everything revolves around the castle here. It's the jewel in the crown of Newcastle West.
The small village of Templeglanton, steeped in a musical tradition, had two railway stations, each 3 kilometres from the village. One of them, Barna, east of the village, was located at the summit of an arduous 10-kilometre ascent from Newcastle West. The trains entered Barna station through a tunnel which can be visited along a standalone 1-kilometre section of the old railway. Access to the tunnel is from the lay-by at Barna on the N21.
Barna is the Irish word for a gap, and this railway cutting and tunnel, constructed in 1880 and located at the summit of the railway line, provided the railway with an escape route through from the crescent of hills that surround this part of West Limerick and allowed the railway to continue westward to Palatine and the County Kerry. This is definitely the jewel in the crown of the trail, and it shows the skill and craft of the workers in the 19th century with little or no modern equipment, and that they were able to carve this and create this magnificent piece of workmanship which has lasted through the ages.
The other railway station on Devon Road is approached through the scenic Tullig Wood and is situated near the local creamery. Finally, on the current route is the town of Abbeyfeale. Located on the River Feel, one of Ireland's most famous rivers, this busy town sits on the borders of counties Limerick and Kerry. Work is commencing on advancing the Greenway from here towards the County Kerry town of Listowel. Listowel has produced numerous writers, storytellers and composers, one of whom, the late Garry McMahon, penned this railway-themed ballad.
The summers were fine and the bright sun did shine. In those days of my youth I now fondly recall the songs and the stories, the hard-earned glories I gleaned with my trusty come on. My dear parents' faces, a trip to the races, on the line to Listowel in the steam engine train. The leaves keep on falling, sweet voices are calling, come back to Newcastle again.
Come explore this greenway full of history, beauty and character in the heart of the Midwest of Ireland, the Great Southern Trail. For more information, check out www.southerntrail.net.